You know, for me, growing up with a speech impediment and stuttering in high pressure situations, things like that, it had such a negative effect on my confidence when I would come to Supercross. Whether it was press conferences that we'd have to do the day before a race, it was always really embarrassing for me to stutter and to stammer, and it kind of weared on me, weared on my confidence, and definitely something that I had to deal with mentally and emotionally that other riders didn't. They may have their own things that they're dealing with, but for me, that was it. And I remember in the early 90s, there was a year or two where if we were in the premier class, when the 125 class was over, the floor announcer would come down to the starting line and we'd all have to have our helmets off. And they'd walk down the line and say your name, your team, where you're from, you know, all of these sort of things. And for me, ironically, J's are really hard letters to say when it starts a word, and K's. So it's like, my name's Jeff. Just saying my name was difficult. I'm from Kansas City. Saying those things were really difficult. And so here I am with the mic, and at this time period where I should feel the most confidence in myself and be mentally strong, it always had a negative effect on me. So right before the most important part of the night, I'm getting like deflated, the confidence goes down a little bit. And so for me, that was maybe one of the most difficult things that I had to do mentally, was try to get myself back in a good position. If I stuttered, because I always felt embarrassed. I knew right when I had the injury that ended my professional career, May 4th of 2000, out at Glen Helen Raceway, on a Thursday practice day, crashed, compound fractured my right lower leg, crushed a vertebrae in my back. I went through a little time period, whether it was 30 seconds or 3 minutes, I don't know, but I went through a time period where I couldn't move my feet, I couldn't move my legs. I thought that I was paralyzed. And when I started feeling the pain from the break and I got some movement back, but I knew I've got a spinal cord injury, and I knew, okay, I'm gonna be all right. But at that moment is when I let go I said, that's it. I don't want to do this anymore. One thing that was really important for me specifically during that time period is so that was May, you can back up to probably September of the year before, where just before that, I had been on just a rampage for a number of years, and I had gone into a drug and alcohol rehab. And yes, part of it had to do with the actual, alcohol and things like that. 85% of it was about, hey, you got to figure out what's going on inside, why you're abusing these substances, okay? And let's get straight in here. For me, it was about maturing, right? I had the maturity of about a 14-year-old, and I was 28 years old. So I went through this maturing process, and when I had gotten hurt during that time period, if I hadn't have been clean and sober, I don't know if I'd be here like I am today. I don't know if I would have been able to handle the ending of my professional career, right? Something I'd worked towards my entire life. I wouldn't have been at peace, because I think the substances and things would have been affecting my thought process. So I had back surgery, leg surgery. I just bought a new house. I have like a rented hospital bed in the living room with no other furniture in a brand new house. No window coverings on the house yet, and here I am laying in bed, my career's over, right? And I get a call from David Bailey. We had a talk one night, and I still remember it like it was yesterday, because I remember the light was coming through the window, and I'm just laying there like, shit, what am I gonna do now? And David said, look, use this as a bridge to retirement. He goes, none of us want to stop. He had to stop, not on his terms, but he's like, you have to sometime. He goes, use this, because I told him, I said, I'm feeling like it's over. And well, is it all this emotion, or do you really want it to be over, right? And he said, just use it as a bridge. Here's your chance to say, okay, I've had a great career. I'm gonna be healed up. And then now it's time to end that chapter, turn the page, and start a new chapter. And I remember David, his words and his caring and everything that he had for me really resonated, and I kept that with me. You know, I mean, it's been 22 years now, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. The reason there is a stigma about mental health in our sport is because the athletes, they don't want to show weakness. They don't want to give that up. Same thing when they have an injury. They don't want anybody to know. It's like, but what if you have a sprained ankle and you go out and whoop everybody's ass? And they're like, oh shit, he just did that with a sprained ankle. Wow, superhuman. Well, instead, you know, like when I was on the broadcast, I'm the voice of the paddock, of the riders, of the teams, of this and that. You know, guy would be standing on the podium at the end of the night. He goes, well, you know, I tweaked my arm in practice. And we're like, wait, why didn't we know about that? And mental health is probably more secretive than what, you know, any sort of ortho injury would be, or any sort of sprain. Why is there a stigma about it? I mean, it's hard to say. It just, you know, it's like wearing glasses. Okay, you wear glasses. Okay, so you need glasses to, you know, you need glasses to see better. So I watched this amazing interview with the actress Kristen Bell, and she had talked about how she took medication for some mental health issues, and her mother explained to her this situation like, well, if you go to the doctor and the doctor checks out your eyes and your eyesight's not right, you have to wear glasses. Well, if you go to the doctor and some of the chemicals in your brain are not right, you can take these medications to correct that and bring all of your chemicals in the zone where they need to be. Well, that has a real stigma, like, oh, you're on this medication. It's like, no, it's no different than wearing the glasses, you know? Whatever it takes to get you in the right place, then that's what you got to do. You know, some people have to take, you know, heart medications and thyroid medications and all that. But with mental health medication and issues, you know, people in the past have looked at that differently. And I feel like in 2022 that the understanding of mental health is in a much better place than it's ever been. Personally, that's my feelings. Well, I don't have a problem talking about it. I also hope that there's somebody out there that here's one of the clips from me sitting here and that they identify with that and it clicks for them. There's probably even friends of mine that are out there that I don't know are struggling with something, that I hope you know that you can talk to me, you know? And I think as Supercross racers too, we've been so conditioned to try to be, to have like this coat of armor on us, like we're strong and you know, we can, you know, we're, you know, you're supposed to be invincible. And that I hope that whoever sees this realizes that if you're vulnerable and you need help from somebody, that there are people there if you just open yourself up to that. And I think I've always been really open to that, right? Not I don't have that fear of you know, of looking weak or sounding weak, you know, because throughout my life, I've been really fortunate that there have been people around to help me through these time periods. And I promise you, there's somebody there for everyone.